All right, thank you for joining me. In today's video, we're going to be discussing irregular verbs. And just as a reminder, when you see the term irregular, you've got the prefix ir, which means not, and then you've got the root word in this case, which is regular. So it literally means not regular. But in the case that we're referring to, it does not. Irregular verbs are verbs which do not follow the spelling patterns that other verbs would when converting from present to past tense. Ordinarily, if you've got a verb and you're going from present to past, you would add ed to the end of it. However, that's not going to be the case for either of these two verbs, which are say and see. Instead, they are going to be spelled entirely different to reflect their past tense version. So in this case, let me go ahead and just erase this to make some room. Say, right, like I say, let's go. That would be the present tense. However, if I wanted to show that I've already done it, I would say I said. So I'm going to spell it completely differently. So I said, let's go, meaning it was already said. See is the same thing. So for example, I see a cat in the park across from my house, which I do, and he's having a great time. Instead, the past tense would be I saw, let me go ahead and get rid of the subject pronoun. This would just be saw. So notice how the spelling changes completely. Now, what I'm noticing is, at least among my own students and even among adults, is that oftentimes people will try to use the word seen after a subject pronoun because they think, well, okay, seen is the past tense of see. And that is true. However, you would never use seen to follow a noun. So for example, if I had the subject pronouns I, we, you, or they, right? Then, traditionally, depending on which subject pronoun, you would follow it by, like, let's say, I believe it's called you would have your subject pronoun, and it would then follow with a term like has, have, were, let's say, was, and I think there's one more, which I had written down. Oh, had, thank you. If you have, again, your subject pronoun, and then one of these additions, then preceding that, you would use the term seen, which is the past tense of see. So like an example, let me go ahead and scroll through, is I have seen, ... right, fill in the blank, or they have seen, and that would be fine, as opposed to they have saw, right, or I have saw. No, in this case you would say seen. However, when you just have a noun, so if you want to follow a noun, you would use the verb or the tense of the verb saw. So for example, I saw as opposed to I seen. So saw would be the correct version. Or they saw versus they seen, and so on. However, if one of those follows, they have, or they had, or they were seen with blah blah blah, then it would be okay. But again, I cannot stress this enough. When it comes to the past tense of the verb see and you're following a noun, whether it's a subject noun or whatever, you're going to want to stick with saw. Never seen, unless of course prior to the word seen you have the words has, have, were, was, or had. Okay, so again, we briefly discussed the verbs say and see, and mentioned that they are irregular, and as such, when writing their past tense variant, they need to be spelled differently. In this case, or in the case of say, it would be said. In the case of see, it would be saw if it follows a noun. However, if it follows an additional particle, then you would, or element, then you would use seen, but never seen after a noun. Okie doke. Thank you again. Let me go ahead and just stop sharing my screen. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to the next one. All right, bye.